Hey guys, it's Forbes95 recording live from a local county prison cell. Might have to make this one a little quick because I've been hanging on to this for a while, and it's one I'm gonna have to talk a little about beforehand because of complete coincidence. So, you guys know I was once upon a time a very big fan of Ruby. Right now, but for the last couple of volumes, I think probably since volume like 5 or 6, I really have stepped off of it. It's really been not a show that I enjoy. It's my favorite show I hate watching, as I describe it. The way I look at it now is I watch it like I'm reading my emails. It's anything good? No. Next time, check it again in another week. What does that have to do? Well, because I was a very big fan for a while, I know a lot about it. I know a lot about the characters. So there's a lot of Ruby characters that I think do very well in death battle. So naturally, I've made a lot of death battles with Ruby characters. I didn't want to do most of them because I didn't want people to think I like to spread it out. Like there was when I feel like I'm doing too many fighting game characters, especially like from one franchise, I'll move from it. I'll do a few more of something else and then I'll move back to it. If I feel like I'm doing too many JoJo's characters or too many Persona characters or something, too frequently, I'll hold off for a while and then I'll move on to them. So what right? So like I have all these backed up Ruby fights in mind. Well, Volume 8 happened to end a couple of days ago. So, I think now is thematically a good time to do this. Which fight do I do? Well, I could do something more relevant with, like, Penny in it, because, I'm not going to spoil anything, but, Penny is a character I shouldn't have to worry about anything changing. So I can just take what I know and apply it. Hint, hint. Or do I do something stupid and petty and only funny to me? You guys know me well enough by now. Come on. So I'm gonna do a character that, like most of the characters of the show, and most of the characters that we knew from the last couple of years that were introduced in the last volume or two, won't be getting any attention anytime soon. This is gonna be Velvet Scarlatina in a death battle. Now, who is her opponent? Remember those old YouTube ads that used to play with that really catchy, like, Speed of Light song on them, and it was like an anime tower defense game? Yeah, Arknights. Yeah, it's gonna be the girl from Arknights, Amiya. So, what are the connections here? A, they're both rabbit girls. I mean, that's the obvious one. B, looking into Arknights, not only are, the characters, the Chimera, incredibly similar to the Faunus in terms of, like, not just appearance, but also in terms of, like, their, how they organize and how they do all this other stuff. Arknights is also, like, there's also some, like, really deep lore elements for a tower defense game that I was really interested in, but, like, these characters in the context of a death battle have a lot of similarities to them that I'll have to get into later. But like I said, I'm going to have to speed this up here. So, I'm going to start with Velvet. So, Velvet Scarlatina, she is a Faunus, as I've mentioned. This means she has enhanced reflexes, enhanced agility, balance, things like that. Like, some claim it's proportionate to the animal that they're based off of, but I think it's just, like, a straight amount unless, like they do, like, the Faunus do inherit some of the animalistic traits from the animals that they're a part of, which Velvet usually can, she can run really fast and she can jump really high, so that's, I guess, a rabbit thing, but, and also the other thing that all Faunus have is the ability to see in the dark, but I don't know if that would. I mean, you could put this at night, but like, there's no reason to give them to do it at night. Unless there's something I missed from Arknights that there's anything that happens at night. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, she's a rabbit fauna. She's a part of Team Coffee, who are they're like a senior. They were, I should say, a senior or a like junior year, like third or fourth year beacon attendants. So they were considered one of the premier, teams of the school. So one of like the elite teams of the school. Um, Generally, Velvet just prefers to use martial arts to fight Grimm, which shows you how proficient she is if she's using martial arts to fight Grimm. But also, she does have a weapon, though. She has a weapon it's a camera. She takes pictures of other people's weapons, and she's able to make a hard light construct that is identical to that weapon. Now, there are some downsides to this. These constructs only last a certain amount of time. I think it's like a minute or something. And they only, like, once you use one, you can't reuse it. Like, you have to take another photo and copy it. So she kind of stores them up, and then when she uses them, that's when she uses them. She also has her semblance, which is perfectly attuned to her weapon, which is that she can copy the fighting style of anyone that she's seen, but like to the extent that she's seen them. And also, like, this doesn't copy like their aura or their semblances or anything like that. It just copies, the pure movement that she's seen. So if you throw a kick, she can copy it like perfectly as long as she's physically able to do that kick. I talked about semblances and aura. Velvet, of course, being a Ruby character, being a huntress, she would have her aura at her disposal. Aura is able to take, multitudes of hits depending on the person. And however, having your aura depleted does also leave you, like, physically exhausted. So, pretty much once your aura runs out, you're pretty vulnerable at that point. So, that's Velvet. Let's go into Amiya, because Amiya's got some shit that not only do I have to keep looking up because it's all fucking stupidly named, but it's a character I know less, so I have to really, explain a little bit more. So in Arknights, the theme is that there is this element. Oh, by the way, I'm not proficient with Arknights. I don't know it that well, so if I get these things wrong, just bite me. I don't give a fuck. In Arknights, there's this element known as Originium or something like that, and it's able to allow these like great technological advancements. But it also has the downside of turning organic beings infecting organic beings and essentially just turning them into robots. So, the Chimera, all banded together on a giant ship they call the Rhodes Island. Yeah. And they all pretty much train and fight these robots. Now, Amiya is considered the protagonist, but you're also considered the protagonist, so it's kind of a weird thing. But Amiya is a caster. By the way, there's magic in this game. Anyway, she's a caster in tune with magic, so she's able to use a couple of different magical abilities. She's got, Tactical Chant Gamma, I think? I'm not a big Roman alphabet guy. Tactical Chant, or Greek alphabet guy. Gamma, which increases her attack speed for a limited amount of time, and her party's attack speed, but it's a one-on-one fight, so that shouldn't matter. She's got her Spirit Burst, which is her primary magical attack. It shoots out these like energy balls, and I think it's at its maximum. It can fire up to 8 at once, and then she's got her like her primary ability known as Chimera, which is like her biggest, like spell that she can do, and also it's very uncreatively named. Imagine if I just imagine if I was magic and I made a spell called Human. That would be a little weird. But anyway, this is a spell that completely heals her, or not completely, but very massively heals her, and also gives her a very significant uh makes like strength boost, like attack boost in the game, but I guess it would just like physically empower her probably and make her attack stronger. Probably I would say her magic attacks more so, because I don't think there's like casting damage and physical damage, but attack is still the same stat. So from what I'm aware of, so I think it would just inquire all of her. Why does that matter? Because Amiya also is a guard or like kind of like a knight. And with that, she actually shows off that she's very proficient in swordsmanship and she's very attuned with, she's very fast in her own right, even without the attack speed from Tactical Chant Gamma. With her primary attack, or her biggest, she has this one big move called Phantasmagoria, which is essentially the Ragnarok from Strider, where she vanishes and then hits you 10 times from different directions in a single move, and that's like her big move. However, she can only do that. That tires her out so much that it only, she can only do that once per fight, pretty much. The same with Chimera also, because in the game, once she uses that and the effects wear off, she retreats. I would assume that's because of she can't fight anymore at that point, not because, not because of some stupid, you wouldn't take it literally in that case. So what is this fight? Okay. This is a war of attrition between these two characters, because both of these characters have very big power moves that are very special. These characters are very innocuous on the surface level, but when they bring out their special kind of moves, they get very powerful. But these special moves have very finite, limited uses, and also, in Amiya's case, have come with repercussions. So this is really like a resource management style of fight, which is appropriate because there's a tower defense character in it. In terms of who I think will win this fight, I think Amiya has it. I think she has the speed advantage inherently. Because of her being able to move with Phantasmagoria, and even if they are matched in speed, she has the ability to manually increase her own speed with Tactical Chant Gamma. Otherwise, I think statistically, both of these characters, in terms of strength or durability, Velvet might have a higher durability just due to Aura, but like I said, Aura has that limitation of, exhausting you when it's depleted. You take hits for free, and then your aura runs out, and then you run out of just, energy in your body, essentially. We've seen, Ironwood just collapse when he ran out of aura, and Yang was taken out in a couple of hits when she ran out of aura. So, it's something that does, exert you. However, also there's the experience factor to take into consideration here. Because, Velvet was at Beacon for several years, but she was a student, she was going to class. She was only every now and again going on missions, and even then they weren't, life or death missions. I mean, you could die, but they weren't, very serious missions like they take on in the rest of the show. So how much of that 3 years was she really fighting or training? Amiya has been in like wars for 3 years. So even though it's the same amount of time, I would consider Amiya to be the more experienced of the two. Also, the fact that Amiya not only is versed in the swordsmanship and the magic gives her a wider range of things that she can do there. The other thing is that people are going to bring this up. Well, Velvet could, take a picture of Amiya's sword and her and memorize her fighting style, and that way she'd be able to to fight her, and because she would memorize the fighting style, she would know how to beat her. Well, like I said, Velvet can mimic the fighting styles that she's seen, but she can't that doesn't make her as strong or as fast. And like I said, I believe that Amiya has the speed advantage, so even copying Amiya doesn't necessarily put these two at a stalemate. Not to mention Velvet's ability can't copy any of the magic or anything that Amiya is able to do, like the Spirit Burst or anything like that. And the third and final thing is, I've talked about the aura already, or the fourth and final thing, I think. I might have lost count. I've talked about the aura already. And aura is a, very significant defense. However, Chimera as an ability, I think, just outclasses it because, she, knowing that it is a move that will tire her out and basically, leave her helpless after she uses it, she wouldn't use it recklessly, right? She would use it towards the end. And I feel like having that giant healing move that also your strength and the power of your magic, so it makes your attacks more powerful against Velvet, a character whose aura is, entirely the entire reason that she's able to stay in the fight. And when her aura gets depleted, she's pretty much done. I think that's pretty much it. This would be the killing move. Using Chimera and then doing Phantasmagoria, or Chimera using a bunch of Spirit Bursts to deplete Velvet's aura and then killing her with Phantasmagoria would probably be the way that this fight ends if this was an actual death battle. By the way, this is probably never going to be an actual death battle. These are really very obscure, more obscure characters. I just thought it would be fun. But yeah, I think that that's kind of how this fight would go. And someone's going to mention that, oh, well, they're two actually different characters. They're the same character, they just have different classes. They're not, physically, they are the same person. But yeah, so I'm thinking that Amiya takes this, and sorry for the rant about Ruby for 4 minutes. Anyway, for Blender95, see ya.